What's up, everybody? This is Sema, and today figured I'd do a little Holy Priest overview for you guys, show you what the beta is looking like, show you, try to compare the previous iterations. Now, I will give you a disclaimer. I was pretty knowledgeable when it came to the disc and Shadow Priest, masteries, passives, etc., but honestly, I never really played a whole lot of Holy Priest. I did a couple times, but never very seriously, never raided, never PvP'd as Holy. Not for any long-term period of time. I mean, I probably did at least a dozen arenas as Holy during MOP just to test it out with the Destro, one of my Destro lock buddies. But overall, I really don't know a lot, just being honest. But I am going to go over and see what I can remember and show you guys just a little preview. I mean, I know you can go look on the talent calculator, but, you know, just my thoughts on it. So let's go ahead and get started. First things first, let's go ahead and delve into the artifact weapon. Let's see, okay, Guardian Spirit summons an additional spirit to watch over you, okay. So I have that right here, calls upon a Guardian Spirit to watch over a friendly target for 10 seconds, increased healing received by 40%, and preventing the target from dying by sacrificing itself. This sacrifice terminates the effect and heals the target for 40% of the maximum health, castable while stunned. Massive damage amounts will kill the target despite this effect. Okay. Well, I'm kind of, I'm just seeing that. I'm kind of curious how that plays in with the Shadow Priest talent. The one that will automatically turn you to this bad boy right here. That's not it. Shadow. Okay, it's not going to show me. You used to be able to look at the talents. But that's a little odd. It's only showing me my current spec talents. But I think it's the Blessing of the Old God or something. You immediately go to Void form. And you die after the 3-minute buff, or when you leave Void form. So I'm kind of curious to see how that interplays with it. Okay, reduce cooldown Holy Word Sanctified by 10 seconds. I believe that's an AoE effect. You know what? Actually, let's do the spells first, because all right. So the spell magic, pretty baseline. Holy Fire. I'm glad that at least Holy got this. I think Discipline should have kept it, but I guess they want discs to be right on the balance of shadow and light. So doesn't make sense for them to have many holy spells. Divine Hymn, this was one of my favorite spells. Discipline used to have this, and I loved it. Anytime the stuff started popping off, boom, Divine Hymn. I actually missed Divine Plea too. There was some really good counterplays with that, or I don't want to digress too much. Holy Nova, it looks like it only does damage now, so that's pretty cool. But no more healing, no more clutch healing. It was just nice in the past. Quick little insta heal, but no longer. Alright, so Fade, pretty baseline. Alright, Holy Word Chastise. I get to keep this. I think they introduced this in MOP. So incapacitates him for 5 seconds, 1 minute cooldown. I think he used to have like a 45-second cooldown, but either way, whatever. That's nice. That's nice for dungeons too. You can always stop somebody's casting. Flash heal. Alright. And just read that a second ago. Release Miraculous Light to a target location, healing up to 6 allies. So that's instant, but it is a 50-second cooldown. I don't like how you have to target an area, but it's whatever. Alright, Guardian Spirit. So that's cool. It looks cool. I'm pretty sure this was in Warlord's Drainer. That's one time I never played any Holy at all. So now I do know they lost the chakra system. So before we get too far deep, perform miracle healing in an ally, almost 500k. Okay, that's cool. Nice little clutch heal. Okay, and this is just the difference between these two. Should be just mana cost and cast time. So, Leap of Faith. I really wish they would have let Shadow keep that. It was so nice to use. It was just fun. My wife would just, if we were running an old raid, she didn't know where she was going. I would just be like, hey, Leap of Faith, right back here. She really, she's not as hardcore as me. She only started playing in Warlord's Drainer, but she's gonna miss that. She's lamented plenty of times over that. Alright, Prayer of Mindy. Now I think this is gonna be a bigger deal because before we get too deep, I know there's a couple artifact talents, and I think even a mastery, a couple talents in general. Place a ward on target party, heals them for 33k the next time they take damage, and jumps to another party. Remember, within 20 yards, jumped up to 5 times and lasts 30 seconds for each jump. Okay. That's pretty basic. That's been around for a while. Alright. Light of Tuyur. think I'm saying that right. Applies the light of the Naru to the target, healing for 88k and increasing all healing you do to that target by 25% for 10 seconds, maximum 2 charges. Okay, so that's nice. Probably mainly going to be using that on a tank, I would believe, but I could see some pretty clutch situations in using that in general. Purify. Alright, and like I mentioned in a previous video, if it's up to me, I would go ahead and macro Purify and Dispel Magic to the same button, because I'm old school. That's how it used to be. You could just do a target harm or target friendly macro, and it would use which one was according. Alright, 15-second cast time. You know, I'm going to miss the 0.87 cast time on this, or I think it maybe even got down lower than that. Renew. I'm glad to see this is back, at least for Holy. I say back, you know, Discipline lost it, and it was always nice. Bubble, toss a bubble and renew, and it's like, okay, buy you some time to think. Mass res, pretty baseline for all the healers now. Mind Control, I'm glad to see that's back, because that was really nice to use in Arena 2v2. Maybe not so much 3v3, but you know, if the two DPS are tunneling, boom, Mind Control their healer, and you bought yourself a little window to kill window for the DPS. Shackle Undead, pretty baseline. Prayer of Healing, okay, heals up to 5 target injured allies within 20 yards of the target for 49k. That's pretty baseline. That's been around for a while. Now I will note, I don't believe Discipline has that anymore. So, and I guess that does give the Holy a little more class identity, because in the past, Holy has always been the go-to AoE healing spec for the priest. Maybe not as good as a Resto Druid, but okay, so Smite, pretty baseline. 20% chance to reset the cooldown of Holy Fire. Focused Will, okay, melee attacks cause you to gain Focused Will, reducing damage you take by 15% for 8 seconds, stacking up to 2 times. Mastery, Echo of Light, your direct healing spells heal for an additional 19% over 6 seconds. Now I really like that. It kind of gives them just that little niche healing spot. I mean, I don't want to, you know, say that they're going to be better than Resto Druids. Probably not, but I mean, they're heals over time, I mean. But it's nice that they have some heals over time, and that kind of will offset, you know, create a little more balance, because I know Discipline can artificially buff the meters with Clarity of Will. It's ridiculous, you know. They can just keep spamming Clarity of Will. If you're trying to overheal and buff the meters, though, that's what it's gonna do. Serendipity, okay, when you cast Flash, Heal, or heal, the remaining cooldown of Holy Word Serenity is reduced by 6 seconds. This is Holy Word Serenity. Where is that? Yeah, okay. So instant cast. When you cast Prayer of Healing, the remaining cooldown of Holy Word Sanctify is reduced by 6 seconds. Then you cast Smite, the remaining cooldown of Holy Word Chastise is reduced by 6 seconds. Okay, I like that last part. Not that I'm going to be playing Holy very often. Spirit of Redemption, pretty much the most iconic part of this spec. When he dies, he turns into a spirit, and you can't be attacked, but you can heal. Okay. Alright, well, there you go. Pretty baseline, or pretty basic. Nothing really new that I saw except this and that. Light of Teru and Holy Word Serenity. Alright, so let's go over these. Went over those two. Words of Healing. Increase healing done by your Holy Word spells. Okay. So I think that's a couple of them. Let's see, Holy Word Serenity and Holy Word Sanctify. That's about it. So just 2 spells. Not that potent, but while Divine Hymn is active, Prayer of Mending jumps to a new target every 0.9 seconds without consuming any charges. Now that's badass. Back to what I was saying earlier, this is going to be a very important part of the spec now. And before, I think it was kind of underutilized. I don't remember all the masteries from Mop or Warlords and Draenor, but I don't think it had many synergies. So there you go. Increase healing done by Flash Field and heal by 9%. That's interesting. Okay. While Focus Will is active, Holy Fire, Holy Word, Chastise to reduce the target's movement speed by 30% and increase your movement speed by 30% for 3 seconds. Okay. So I believe that is the passive Focus Will. Okay, so that's mainly for PvP. I really don't see it being a big problem in PvE. Invoke the Naru. When you use Holy Word spell, you have a chance to summon an image of Teru. I think I'm saying that right. For 15 seconds, whenever you cast a spell, it will cast a similar spell. Now, I like that. That's pretty cool. When you use a Holy Word spell, you have a chance. Okay, but it's a pretty low chance, I will say that. Because I was just spamming heals, and I think it's less than 10%. Oh, it has to crit, too, I believe. No. When you use Holy Word spell, you have a chance to summon an image of Teru. There is something that has to crit, I believe, but I'm not gonna go back into it. Okay, increase healing done by renew by 50%. All right, all healing done by 5%. Okay, increase healing done by prayer of healing. Leap faith heals target 15% of maximum health over 6 seconds. Now that's pretty cool. I like that. That actually makes it a lot more useful in PvE. Instead of just pulling somebody out of something, you're actually healing them, saving their life. And I believe it's off the global cooldown. Yeah. So that's good to know. You could actually make a macro out of that if you really wanted to, but probably wouldn't. It would really neuter the utility of the grip itself. Increase critical chance of Holy Word's Trinity by 15%. Okay, we already read that. Okay, say your prayers. Prayer mending has a 20% chance not to consume a charge when it jumps to a new target. So there you go. Another synergy with prayer mending. That's going to be very important. Casting Holy Word Sanctify increases healing done by prayer healing by 6% for 15 seconds. So I guess they anticipate you know, doubling up on your AoEs there. Now that reminds me, we're actually missing Circle of Healing. I just went on about the AoE, that how the Holy Priest has always been the go-to AoE healer, while the Disc Priest has always been the go-to for absorbs and damage mitigation. But critical heals with heal or flash heal have a chance to imbue you with the essence of true, increasing all healing done. Okay, so that's what I was referring to when I said crit. When prayer mending jumps to a target affected by renew, that target is instantly healed for 33k. Okay, so there you go. So that's what, 3 synergies I can think of. So I'm not gonna go back over them, but I believe there's 3 synergies. So there you have it. There's that. Let's jump into the talents real quick. Excuse me. Thrall of Light. When you cast Flash Shield, 40% of the healing is replicated the previous target you healed with Flash Shield. Now that's really cool. Trail of Light, and I feel like that the name is, is very fitting. And during renewal, your single target healing spells refresh the duration of your renew on the target. Now I'm kind of curious to see if Prayer of Mending will count for that, but I'm thinking no, because I'm not actually targeting the person. You regenerate mana 10% faster. Now I'll just say this right now, I spent like 5 minutes just spamming Flash Heal earlier, and it seemed like I couldn't go home, and you're not going to ever be spamming Flash Heal. So I mean, I am draining my mana, but only under the most strenuous circumstances I believe you're going to take that. Probably want to take one of the other 2. Angelic Feather, glad to see that back. Body of Mind, okay, I was thinking that might be something else, but heals target for 13k every 1 second and increase their movement speed by 40%. Now for a second I was thinking that was Body and Soul, but that's right, we Holy Priests do not have Power Word Shield anymore. That's probably a good thing, so they don't step on any Disciplined Priest toes in a raid. That was kind of annoying, seeing a little Holy Priest toss out their little piddly shield, and it's like, okay, my shield's 3 times stronger than yours. Anyways, Desperate Prayer, it's been around for a while, but it looks like they added something to it. It heals you for 20% of your maximum health and increases your maximum health by 20%, decreasing by 2% every second. So they actually added that, adding that little Battle Master trinket, the one that increased your health. It looks like not quite that, but it's nice that it's baked in. Shining Force, okay, creates a burst of light around a friendly target, knocking away nearby enemies and slowing their movement speed by 70% for 3 seconds. Now that looks really freaking cool for PvP. And I can't remember if that was, I think that is in the Discipline as well, but either way, let's continue. Holy Word Chastise now stuns target for 5 seconds and is not broken by damage. So that's pretty cool. I'd probably actually pick that. Even though it is a 1 minute cooldown, stuns are nice. Increase the duration of Spirit Redemption by 50%. Okay. Bolster the morale of all healers in the party or raid within 40 yards, allowing them to cast spells for no mana for 10 seconds. Okay. 6 minute cooldown. I could see some niche situations where that'd be useful. Guardian Angel. It's a 10 minute buff still? Okay, it didn't seem like 10 minutes there, but when Guardian Spirit expires without saving the target from death, reduce its remaining cooldown by 2 minutes. Okay. Serendipity reduces the remaining cooldown of the appropriate holy word by an additional 2 seconds. Okay. So instead of 6 seconds, it would be 8 seconds for both the holy words. Holy Word Sanctify and Holy Word Serenity. I'm going to go ahead and pick that while I'm thinking about it. And just go ahead and pick that while I'm at it. Shining Force. I mean, I'm not going to be able to check some of these out. I don't have anybody here around me to heal. But Surge of Light. I mean, if this is your thing, you can do it. But if you're going to be DPSing, you might as well just be playing Discipline, if you ask me. So, but your healing spells and Smite has an 8% chance to make your next flash heal instant and cost no mana. Maximum 2 charges. 8% chance is pretty low. So, I think it used to go up to like 15. In the old talent trees from Wrath, you could put more than 1 point into it. So, but 8% is a little low for my blood. I'm gonna keep on trucking on that one. Binding Heal. I wish this was baseline again. This was so cool. You know, I just remember so many times flash heal and just like being in the zone and like switching my targets and like being like, okay, I need to heal, binding heal, like not even thinking about it, but it's not even baseline anymore. Paramending now triggers Serendipity, reducing the remaining cooldown of Holy Word Sanctify. Okay, now see, that's back to what I'm saying. This spell has a lot of synergy now. Divinity. When you heal with Holy Word spell, with a Holy Word spell, your healing is increased by 15% for 8 seconds. Now, I don't think that's, I mean, it's nice that it's passive, so Divine Star, I probably would choose it because, you know, they neutered the hell out of Divine Star after Mop. And giving Halo a cast time is just... But they did lower the... No. Yeah, I think they did lower the cooldown. I think it used to be 1 minute. So that's nice. And it does look cool. And back to the AoE factor. But, man, that will heal everybody. Not just 5 targets like this. Okay, 6 targets there, 5 targets there. Okay. Apotheosis. Enter a pure holy form for 30 seconds, increasing the effects of Serendipity by 20%, reducing the cost of your holy words by 100%. I think I'm going to pick that just on the principle that I want to see how it looks. Benediction? Oh, I already have Benediction, actually. Paramending has 50% chance to leave Renew on each target it heals. Oh my gosh. So, kind of reminds me of the quest it took to get the Benediction. You had to keep Renew up on like a dozen little ads that were just constantly just taking damage. Circle of Feeling, I did mention this earlier. It almost just seems like a no-brainer here. This is nice because it's instant, but it's still on a global cooldown. So I don't see why you'd want to take that. I mean, very niche situations. I mean, I take that back. All these are really nice looking. So I'm impressed with this. I just wish they made some of these other choices a little more competitive. You know, like I'm pretty much, if I was actually playing Holy, I don't think I would ever take Surge of Light. You know, need Binding Heal. And what is this? Trigger Serendipity, reducing the remaining cooldown of both Holy Words Serenity and Holy Words Sanctify. Okay. See, I mean, think about the interaction with Binding Heal and Trail of Light. You know, like heal that guy, heal the tank, heal yourself, and you're also healing a third party. I mean, just seems like there's more interactions there than there would be with Surge of Light. I mean, I guess if it's a really fast-paced fight. But anyways, so yeah, I'm impressed, actually. I'm going to go and pick this just out of curiosity. I want to see what it looks like. Okay, now that looks freaking sick. Wow. Shing, shing. Oh, wow, it lasts quite some time, too. Man, I really enjoy when, like, somebody pops a cooldown and it's, like, noticeable. You're like, oh my gosh. So that's pretty cool. I'm impressed. Whoa. Pretty cool. Alright, let's check out these honor talents now. Just real briefly. Okay, staple. This should all be the same. After healing your target below 50% health, you gain 20% haste. While you are at or above 80% health, your healing is increased by 20%. Okay, we've seen different variations of that. Inner Focus provides immunity to silence and interruption effects for 5 seconds and increase the criticals. Okay, back to what I said in like the last 2 videos. It kind of irks me that Blizzard takes spells away and they give them back to you like another expansion later in the form of a talent. You know, it just, like, this used to be baseline for Holy and Discipline, I believe. Maybe just Discipline, but it was really nice. And then they added the effect where you couldn't be silenced or interrupted for like the next 5 seconds after you use it or something. Oh, well, I guess that's still there. But it kind of irks me that, like, that's no longer baseline. But, I mean, at least we have the option to get it, you know. That's, I mean, at least they were trying with that one. Holy Ward, where's the next friendly target against next full loss of control effect? Okay. Now, I'm wondering how long that lasts. You know, and that reminds me, I'm not seeing a fear ward in here. And I don't remember seeing it in the discipline side either. So that kind of irks me. But anyway, spiritual cleanse, purify no longer has a cooldown, but only dispels one magic and disease effect. Okay, purify has maximum 2 charges. Delivered from evil, leap of faith removes all movement impairing effects and grants an absorption shield equal to 20% of their maximum health. I believe there was a glyph that did this, minus the actual shielding part, but it was supposed to remove all movement impairing effects. So I mean, I guess it's a trade-off. After being interrupted while casting a spell, you become immune to being interrupted while casting for 20 seconds. Now that's freaking cold. Wonder what the cooldown. It doesn't say what the cooldown is on that. So it's almost like you get interrupted once, you free cast for 20 seconds. Greater Fade. Fade out, removing all threat, increasing your movement speed by 50% and causing the next 3 melee attacks to be dodged. Interesting. Greater Heal. Healing down on your heal is increased by 20%, but the mana cost is increased by 30%. I mean, we used to have a Greater Heal. And now we just have Flash Heal and Heal. And the Greater Heal even had that icon, so... Back to what I was saying earlier. Paramending is now instant cast. I like that, especially because of all the synergy involved. Your new instant heals 50% more when cast and heals an additional 15% over time. Okay. Reduce cooldown Divine of Guardian Spirit, but its duration is reduced by 3 seconds. Okay. So, I don't know about that. Really don't know about that. Replace Spirit of Redemption. Your Spirit of Redemption is now an active ability with a 5-minute cooldown, but the duration is reduced by 5 seconds, and you will no longer enter Spirit of Redemption upon dying. So I'm wondering what that exactly means. Can I become untargeted? They cannot hit me anymore? You know? Reduced by 5 seconds. So, I mean, I'm assuming that it keeps all these properties. You cannot move, attack, or be attacked, or be targeted by any spells or effects, and your healing cost is no mana. When the effect ends, you die. So I'm wondering if you die, because it clearly says you die. If anybody wouldn't mind leaving a comment and let me know, I'm kind of curious about that. For the next 6 seconds, all damage and healing dealt to the target is delayed until Ray of Hope ends. All healing that is delayed and the Ray of Hope is increased by 100%. I really like this. It reminds me of a Dota 2 ability called Borrowed Time. And it doubles all the healing after it ends. So that's really cool. That's really freaking cool. That's pretty much the most impressive honor talent I've seen here. So there you have it, guys. Just fiddle around here. I mean, this is just PvP gear, so who knows what the stats mostly look like garbage. Versatility, don't really need any of that. Rather have haste crit here, or mastery crit. A little bit of haste goes a long way. 7% haste is piddly, but gave you the idea of what's going on. See, there you go. Less material. Okay. Oh, wonder why it didn't pop up the first time. I had to use it twice. That's pretty sure that's one of the passives that I pointed out. Anyways, we lost some things. Most notable: Power Ward Shield, Fear Ward, the Chakra system, which I thought was cool, and it was in, you know, there was a lot of like unique playstyles with that. But anyways, guys, this is Sema. Like, comment, subscribe, and let me know about that the interplay with this talent here. Does it kill you at the end when you use it? I'm not sure. I would queue it for a battleground, but I'm just not in the mood right now, so especially not to play holy. Anyways, peace out.